I'm going to bring up Michael Sawyer, and he is the representative for the Garibaldi Arts Club this year, and I believe he's prepared a few opening remarks. And just hold on to your seats, folks. I've heard him speak before. Come on up, Michael.
Maybe we could give a little hand to Phil, because he does a lot of work, I think, to organize this thing. When he asked me to introduce this year's extravaganza, I talked to a few people at Garibaldi and at Expressions and at Seed Center, all places that I paint, and I asked them, why do you do art? What do you get out of art? And as expected, the most common thing was creativity, but I also heard de-stressing and the social aspect. But I heard some interesting things. People talked about help with the process of grieving and even pain relief. Some people talked about pain relief in the elderly, like they could do things with art that they couldn't normally do, in their day-to-day situation. And then recovery from brain trauma. Anybody? Well, it's a process, right? And just wanted to make a few little words about creativity. It's kind of a funny word, It can mean shuffling around a bit of paint on a canvas or putting together a few words. But I wanted to talk about creativity with a capital C. And Phil knows I tend to babble, so I did promise to keep it to 5 minutes, so I think I'll be under that. I'll keep it real light. Einstein said that matter is an illusion. How's that for light? I think in one way he's right. Quantum physics has shown us that really all that exists is vibrations. Matter is like a standing wave of vibrations. If you've ever seen an oscilloscope, you see an AC current on an oscilloscope, it's a pattern like that, and you might think that there's a reality to that. Well, no, it's just kind of a representation of a current of a vibration that's happening again and again and again, and it makes a picture of it. And matter is something like that. It's a vibration that has enough inertia to become something that we feel as a real thing. And so, you could say really vibrations is not necessarily the best word for it, because if there's no things to vibrate, what is doing the vibrating? So really it's more of not vibrations, but it's information or relationships, but there's no things to have relationships. So it's relationships of relationships, which to me starts to sound like consciousness is a pretty good word to describe it. So in my opinion, all that exists is consciousness. Matter is not a thing, but it's not really an illusion either, as Einstein said. It's a thought form. It's a perspective on seeing reality. It's one way to see reality. It's kind of like, the expansion of source is limited by our seeing it as diversity. I don't know if you flew into that, but it's kind of like, like what do you believe in God or not? But if there's a conscious origin to the universe, it's of an expansive nature, and our role is not in limiting, but in turning that expansiveness into something that's a real thing. Like we take that vibration, project it out into the world as a hologram, and then see it again and interact with it. So that's the material plane. And so really, when Einstein says matter is an illusion, I think really the illusion is if we identify with matter. Matter flows through us, but we are not matter. I believe that this ultimate consciousness, whether you call it God or not, is not just the unmanifest source. Like people tend to think of God as source, but I think it includes all that exists. Kind of like the play of colors on a soap bubble is the material world. Because again, it's not really a thing, it's a process. And I don't really care for the word God, even though I was brought up Christian, because it makes us believe that we have some knowledge that we don't necessarily have unless we experience it. So the way I consider God or ultimate consciousness is that to which there is no other. So inclusive of not just that which is not manifest, but that which is manifest is all part of the play of God. And as to us, we are a nexus of consciousness that sits between that original consciousness and the diversity of matter. And our role is to choose our preferences and then to align with that to allow the expansion of the play of God. So how wide are the horizons of our minds? We select the path of the expansion of the play of God. That's creativeness with a capital C.